You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Hi, I'm Franco Luna, Puma Podcast. You're listening to Teka Teka News. In this episode,
internet voting is the people have difficulty going to the embassy. So by using online voting, what we do is we will bring the ballot to the voters. This will actually enfranchise voters who have difficulty going to the embassy maybe because it's too far or it adds an additional cost for them. It also increases the participation, improves the efficiency, most especially our voters who are considered a person with disability so they can vote at the convenience of their home.
we talk about the latest proposal to bring voting to the people.
Katulad po nung nilabas namin yung TOR para sa software at saka sa hardware, yung machine. Sabi po nila, napakataas naman ng wishlist ng COMELEC. Nung magpa-market survey po kami, 4 na nagsabi kaya eh. Meron palang kaya na makagawa ng machine na gusto namin. At least po makakapag-proceed kami sa procurement. May mga ni-revise kami, kinonsider namin yung sinabi ng CAC, kinonsider namin yung sinabi ng PPCRV, yung NAMFEL, at iba pang well-meaning organizations.
That's COMELEC Chairperson George Garcia. He was talking about their plan to allow millions of Filipinos abroad to vote via computers or mobile apps in the 2025 national elections in hopes that this will raise voter turnout. In the 2022 polls, the Philippines actually spent around 417 million pesos just to ensure that around 600,000 voters would be able to cast their votes. And that's around 400 pesos per voter just for a 39% turnout. Now, the COMELEC stresses they're only set for a trial run for now, with OFWs and select countries to start. Here's Commissioner Marlon Casquejo.
Kasi hindi naman lahat mag-a-avail. Because there are countries where we cannot use internet votings, where there are internet restrictions. Like for example, in Israel, in Russia, may mga China, even in China, you cannot send outside information. So there are countries na hindi applicable yung internet voting natin. And in countries naman, may mga iba na gusto talaga personal. They want to feed the ballot. So sa ngayon in 2025, it is optional. It is an added type of voting.
At least 8 companies have so far pitched their internet voting technology to the COMELEC. They are Miru, Smartmatic, Dermalog, Indra, eCorp, Tambuli Labs, Voats, and Thales. How might it work? Listen to Miru's business development manager Marcelo Coelho make their pitch before the COMELEC.
So generally, how the voting is done is that we send a unique URL code to the voter. Each voter receives their own URL. They access to this URL and they will be sent to either a public web page or they can open a dedicated application. The voter then can see the current information of the turnout, right? Because we update this information constantly. And after checking this general information, they can proceed to vote. After authenticating themselves, they will be sent to the first election, right? So on the first election, they will be presented with a selection of candidates. They will select the candidate. After selecting the candidate, they have to confirm twice, right? We do this in order to avoid any type of human error, right? Because we know some people might press the wrong candidate and they might have to verify it again. We repeat this over and over until all of the elections have been done.
Again, nothing is final yet, and what Miru described was just one of many pitches the Commission heard to encourage more OFWs to exercise their right to vote. But the Center for Migrant Advocacy notes that OFWs experience several difficulties in voting. Here's Ellen Sana, the center's executive director.
So yung malalayo, for example, yung mga, dati, ang number 1 dyan magbe-benefit sa internet would be the seafarers. Kasi nasa barko yung mga yan eh. And we have like more than 300,000 Filipino seafarers at any one time. So sana ay yung may enfranchise yung mas marami sa kanila. Saudi is 6 times bigger than the Philippines. So kung taga-Saudi ka, kung mamimit ng Saudi yung requirements for postal, na meron kang reliable na postal system, etc. Kaya lang sabi ng Kongreso ay post office box naman ang mga addresses. So, ang tingin nila na compromise yung secrecy of the ballot kasi for all we know, yung sabi ng kongresista, imagine nila that the employers will take an interest on our electoral exercise, kukunin niya yung balota at siya yung boboto. So sa madaling sabi, for all the Gulf states, for example, lahat yan ay AES, automated, personal. So you have to go to the embassy or consulate and cast your ballot there.
But despite the potential of automated online voting, the group points out that there are risks and factors that must be considered in rolling out the plan.
Unang-una dyan yung the secrecy and the sanctity. Diba? Na dapat hindi mo nalalaman sino yung bumoto. The secrecy dapat na-uphold yan. At saka the sanctity. So yung sanctity na hindi nako-compromise yung safety ng balota mo. But at the same time, yung transparency. Lalo na kung nag-internet ka, maraming mga tao hindi naman alam what goes on in the machine.
If one of those names sounded familiar, that's because it is. Smartmatic, which has provided the technology for recent elections, and which has been the target of questions and criticism for it, is also pitching for the automated system for overseas voting. Here's Smartmatic manager Neil Baniked speaking before the COMELEC. Baniked says they've considered the problems advocates are raising.
In terms of usability, as mentioned before, we bring the ballot to the voter. The other way around, we don't ask the voter to go and see the ballots. We also employ end-to-end encryption. By the time you actually started to vote up to the end where we are counting the votes, we provide end-to-end encryption. We preserve the integrity by employing additional level of security by putting in digital signature. We prevent eavesdropping by implementing TLS, another layer of security.
We're pausing for a quick break now. When we return, we'll tell you about other security solutions that companies are proposing. COMELEC says that when it comes to security, they're considering everything currently available. Blockchain technology, for example, it's something that keeps getting brought up. And that same technology behind cryptocurrency can apparently also be used for electronic voting.
Unang-una yung sinasabi kong blockchain, that is hindi pwedeng palitan talaga kasi magkakaroon talaga ng issue dyan, malalaman talaga na pinalitan yung boto mo or even your data package, yung result package na papalitan. Not necessarily makikita yung laman, but as to yung pinadalang boto, talagang hindi mapapalitan yan. As to the identity of the voters, ang dami naman tayong technology na secured siya. So, yun ang ilalagay natin sa terms of reference.
There are still many questions, even potential legal and constitutional challenges, to proposals and formats for online voting. But above all concerns, COMELEC sees technology pushing everything forward.
Maybe in 2028, baka pwede nating maging mandatory in some countries, like for example, Hong Kong, gawin natin internet voting, lahat-lahat, para yun na nga, maibsan yung gastos natin because gaya ng sabi ni Chair, we are not going to print the ballot, we are not going to send machines, we're not going to use the mailed ballot.
Ellen Sana of the Center for Migrant Advocacy says OFWs would welcome this easily as long as they understand it.
Hindi pwedeng ang may alam lang ay yung mga technology savvy. So dapat kayang maipaliwanag yung what happens doon sa internet voting ng ordinaryong mamamayan. Maintindihan niya yung proseso and what is happening or what is going on. So mahalaga yon para mayroon tayong pag-ownership. Oo, talaga gusto namin tong technology nito at talagang at the end of the day, it's really the will of the people that will reflect in the results of the elections. Ang overseas voters are very mobile at I think the internet will facilitate or will guarantee that they are still able to exercise this very fundamental right to participate in our electoral exercise. Crossing the borders should not mean losing your rights. And this rights would include political rights or the right to participate in election.
That was today's episode of Teka Teka News. Muli ako po si Franco Luna, Puma Podcast. This episode was edited by Freddy Blanco, and our Teka Teka News executive producer is Jill Caro, while our senior editor is Veronica Uy. If you're watching this on YouTube and you appreciated the episode, please do take the time to like and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for listening.